Hey everyone, Meteorologist here in Tuttle back with you again. We got another thunderstorm that has gotten a little carried away, and so the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for that one. So I'm going to show you where that's at and give you an update on the radar situation out there over the state. Okay, so let's see here. First thing we're going to do, take you on to the radar picture here, full screen. So we've got those thunderstorms that were moving into the Bridgeport-Hinton area. They've actually kind of continued to kind of weaken a little bit. So they haven't really been that strong. So no imminent tornado threat from those approaching the western side of Canadian County. They went back to more of a northeastward movement versus an eastward movement. So that means the broad or tightened circulation is long gone. However, new tornado warning has been issued for Taloga and coming up on Putnam and Oakwood. This is out here in Dewey County. For this particular storm out in this part of the state. So this is northwest, well northwest of Oklahoma City. So this is southwest of Fairview and southeast of Woodward. We also have other storms that are building from Elk City southward to Altus, and these will also bear watching as we head throughout the rest of the overnight hours. Okay, so let's go back up to the Taloga storm. Let's take a look at radar interrogation. We're going to see where the center of circulation is. Right now, going to be coming up over, luckily, a little creek, a little river stream. Lots of creeks in this area, but a river stream there. And as far as the roadway, the closest one I got, that's East Road 710 and North Road 2300. That's the location of the circulation feature. The warning information on this, issued from the National Weather Service, says at 12:54, so just a couple minutes ago, severe storm capable of producing a tornado is located 6 miles southeast of Taloga, moving east at 30. Hazard is a tornado in quarter-size hail. It's radar indicated rotation. Let's see here. Anything else? Oakwood, northwestern Canton Lake, and Huckmack all need to be seeking shelters from this particular storm. So moving east at 30. So let's do a storm track on that as well. And we'll see where that ends up taking, if it has any other paths involved in this. Let's see here. Any other major cities besides the ones we just mentioned. Okeen and Hitchcock will be coming up here eventually. Let's see, we said 30 miles per hour though, so that just brings us to Canton. So that's the only immediate impact here from this particular circulation center. So passing just south of Longdale, over Canton, and passing north of Oakwood, it looks like right now. Let's go back through the velocity algorithm here. So if you live between Canton and Oakwood, go ahead and be in your tornado shelters. Lowest part of the of your home, lowest floor, away from all outside walls and windows. Obviously, if you have a storm shelter, that's a better place to be. What we're also going to do is I'm going to switch radar sources. We've got a few in the state, and we're going to see if I can get a better view of this velocity data from a different view. So we'll let that load up and see. Sometimes we have to flip to different ones that are located in different areas of the state to get a better view of some circulation features, that kind of deal. Okay, so that one really didn't help me all out that much. Let's try a different one here. So our goal is to track it down to the intersection of the main roadways. So let's see, let's do that here, and we'll see if any of these little towns come up. So let's see what we got. There's North Road 2340, intersection of East Road 700. And this is about 6 miles southeast of Taloga is where the location of the center would be of circulation. Oakwood, it's about the same distance, about 7 miles to your northwest. It's in this little highlighted area right here, this little noise. I'm calling it a spotlight there. But that's where we're going to be watching for this particular circulation center. Again, this is just radar indicated. There's been no confirmation from anyone. It doesn't look that impressive on radar itself yet, but it is a strong enough circulation to trigger an official warning out of that. Okay, let's see here. Let me check something real quick. Okay. This tornado warning will extend until about 1:30 in the morning. Storm motion east at about 29 miles per hour, and we've got hail. It looks like about the size of an inch with this particular storm. So again, if you guys live around Oakwood, if you start to hear some tornado sirens off into the background, that's the reason for the storm right here passing just to your north side. All right, going to be of course big some hail with this. We talked about an inch. The northern side of this looks like maybe 1 3/4 inch size hail detected by radar. So a little bit stronger of a cell than what we've had earlier. Now this is interesting. This one here, southwest of Hennessy, north of Loyal, it has a little hook echo on it, moving to the northeast at about 33 miles per hour. Also has some close to golf ball size hail. It's over 1 inch in diameter. A lot of lightning with it. Let me see if anything looks suspicious on the velocity side. Not yet. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes if you see a hook echo, it doesn't always mean a tornado. It just means that's something to get your attention to look at, and that's what I just did. I'm not concerned right now. I'll keep an eye on it though. Those ones down here south of there, around Geary and Hinton, those are just some strong thunderstorms. Those are severe thunderstorms, by the way. So not tornadic at this point in time. Then we got other severe storms down here around Hobart. Same idea, standard lightning, golf ball size hail at the minimal, and then potentially some damaging winds. Okay, let's see what else I got for you. I'm going to check something here real quick. VAD wind profile shows that the speeds in the atmosphere are still pretty decent on the wind shear. Directional shear, yeah, it's not bad. It's not overly impressive for tornadic output. These winds down here need to back a little bit more, and the mid-level ones need to veer a little bit more. And that's supposed to happen starting around 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to see. We're just an hour away from that. So we'll see what happens. Dew point values continue to come up, though. Looks like they're in the upper 50s. They still have a few degrees to go. So we're still not quite where we needed to be here in the Oklahoma City metro area for the best conditions for producing a tornado. So in other words, the conditions are still pretty meager out into the areas where these storms have tried, which is good. It just means that they may not be successful very well. Okay, back here in southwest Oklahoma, let's see here. I'm just going to take a look at these real quick. See if anything jumps out at me. Just some heavy storms, pockets of hail. Okay, so that's southwest. Let's go back into central. That circulation feature, by the way, looks like it's already diminished. We'll see if it regenerates. Let's take a look at this radar view here. It seems to have a little bit better look at it. Yeah, it's let's see. I'm not impressed with it right now. We'll see what happens with it though. Let me go back to this guy here east of O'Keene and west of Hennessy. Slightly disorganized here. We'll see what happens with that one, if anything. Let me switch radar views. I'll be looking at a bunch of different views here on purpose. So I believe that'll be the second tornado warned storm, we didn't actually have a confirmation of a tornado during the warning. But we'll find out. But still, until the warning is either canceled or allowed to expire, just stay in your shelters if you live just north of Oakwood, between there and Canton. Algorithms here are triggering, 84% probability of hail and 88% of wind, but only 1% of a tornado. Yeah, probability of a tornado 1%. So algorithms are not too excited about that storm anymore. Let's see, the one is 11% here coming into Hennessy from the left, from the west, and that's still a little disorganized. So let's see, what about these guys down here? In Bridgeport, probability of a tornado 6%, and 17% is the one left of that. That's ridiculous. That's not going to happen. Let's see here. Yeah, not impressed with those either. Okay, good. Well, when you hear me not impressed, say I'm not impressed. That's a good thing. All right, so that's the latest on the round robin of anything looking for trouble. Let's take a look here at some of the weather conditions. Oh, and I do have, believe, one of my chasers out and about right now on the west side. So he's on the west side of town, heading towards Hinton. So he's parked. So this is TWX Oklahoma on Facebook. So they've got their live view out right now. Just waiting for those storms out west of the metro to see if they do anything. I guess he put the kids to bed and said, all right, I'll go out there for a little bit. So if he sees anything, we'll be able to see what he's got. Okay, so real quick here, information we have coming in from the Oklahoma Mesonet. Dew point values are right around 60 degrees now here in central Oklahoma. They're low 60s down along the Red River, so there's still some weak dew point advection coming in, a little bit better moisture. Up here in the north, that cold pool is building, so it's going to help to really drag this cold front in. So in other words, there's a cold front about like so, about like that. And it's kind of getting pushed southward with that cluster of storms. And then we've got an area of low pressure developing. There's probably a pseudo one here, and there's a bigger one out here in the panhandle. This little guy here will probably ride up the front, but we'll watch for dry line to kick through out of this guy here. And of course, we've already have the developing storms in this area here, and these storms will migrate this direction into this air mass, which has a little better moisture, just slightly. In the wind shear, let's take a look at the different wind shear. Oklahoma City compared to what we saw, what we're going to see down southwest. Let me head down here and look real quick. The tornado warning for Dewey has been canceled. So that's because there was nothing left of it. Here's the wind shear down here in southwest Oklahoma. Again, it's not bad. It's not the greatest for tornadoes, but it's not terrible. It'll do. Let's just put it that way. But it's nothing that screams overly, crazy situation. It should be enough if the right things come together. Okay, so let me go to satellite viewpoint. We'll take a look at the cloud tops, see how they're doing. Upper level storm system is right out here across the eastern New Mexico, West Texas border. Meanwhile, we're watching for these cloud tops here in red. The darker the red, the colder they are, which means the stronger they are. All right, so the strongest storms, believe it or not, is right here. That's probably that one in Hennessy. And the one out here west that we just had a little tornado warning on. The ones down here, they're struggling. They're just not kind of starting to fill in with more orange, yellow, and a couple spots of red. So they're having a tough time here in Southwest Oklahoma from getting going, whereas these up here are having no trouble so far. Okay, so the latest trend with that. The experimental, housing environment looking for potential producing a tornado. Well, as far as the significant tornado parameter, check, we're good there. As far as the supercell composite, check, we're good there. The Cape values, instability, we're good there. Effective shear, we're good there. Effective helicity, good there. And the lifting condensation level, good there. So we meet all criteria for climatology of seeing tornadoes in a similar environment. Now, I've used this chart. If you've watched me do these live coverage, I use it all the time just to see how the model thinks things, are progressing as far as what our potential is. And even though it does say the atmosphere is primed historically, doesn't necessarily always mean tornadoes. As a matter of fact, there's been a lot of times where we've met the criteria and we still didn't get much happening. On the significant tornado, that's an EF2 or greater, we still make most of the categories. The little weak here in the supercell composite and in the Cape. We lack in those two for something significant, but we do check off the rest. So these are just little interesting things that I like to look at on the research side, just to see where we stack up. Let's see, there's a new mesoscale discussion for northeast Oklahoma. Threat for large hails and some severe wind gusts. A tornado or two may also occur in this area in northeastern Oklahoma, so that's different. Let's see. Ongoing strong storms across Oklahoma, obviously. Let's see, low-level warm advection regime. Sounding indicated the presence of greater than 8 degrees per kilometer mid-level lapse rates. The lapse rates are great for hail. As low-level moisture continues to advect northward early this morning across Oklahoma into eastern Kansas, the Cape will increase. Okay, effective shear, blah, blah, blah. It'll provide favorable for storm organization, including supercells. Convection in Kansas and northern Oklahoma will probably remain elevated due to the north of the surface front. Still, these mainly elevated storms should pose a large hail threat. Let's see, upscale growth, storm to perhaps damaging winds, blah, blah, blah. Potential for tornadoes remains unclear in eastern Oklahoma and vicinity as low-level moisture returns northward. If storms can become truly surface-based, then a tornado or two may occur across this area, as low-level shear will be quite favorable. Regardless, the increasing severe threat will likely warrant a watch soon. Okay, so that's just the future prognosis there for northeast Oklahoma and southeastern Kansas. Let's see here. Let's see how this model ended up doing. So, kind of give you an idea. This model stinks. So I'm not going to talk about it. Moving on. Alright, let me see what else we got for you. Low-level tracks. This is an interesting map you can show sometimes. So we're looking at those storms that are out there now, and these are all the lowest level rotation tracks, just to kind of show you that some of these are rotating at a long stretch of time. Now, it does not mean they're producing tornadoes, it just means they're rotating itself at the lowest level the radar can detect, which sometimes in the mid-levels, depending on how far away it is from the radar. But this can be good to use sometimes whenever you want to track how a tornado has moved. They'll look a little different. Here's a look at the lightning density. It does show lightning is picking up at these storms down here in southwest Oklahoma, so that should mean that they're intensifying. Lightning here in clusters in these storms and these storms and these storms. So kind of a 4-part cluster area. So we'll see how that continues to unfold. More lightning indicates a stronger storm. Let's see here. Okay, his live feed is ended. We'll just check back in with him a little bit later. Okay, I think that was all I wanted to see there. Let's go back to the radar here real quick. Okay, up here in northern Oklahoma, garden variety thunderstorm, typical for spring, Covington to Marshall. Otherwise, no big deal there. Ironically, it says a 65% chance of producing a tornado. That's the highest I've seen, I think, today. And looking at the data, there's not a chance in Hades. So these are experimental algorithms. I like to use them just because I like to see everything on the research side be put into practice, and I'm putting it into practice, and I could go ahead and throw that one away. The one down here in east of Joaquin and Hennessy has lost some of the structure it had with it earlier. It does have a really good hail core with it, though, but that's a dime a dozen here in these storms. Let's see, the one out here, Dewey County. Again, nothing's left of that one. Ooh, what is this? Let me look at another radar view from that. And that one too. Sometimes you have to get different radar views just because you may not always get the big picture. You know, I think I might have a little tornado here. A little baby one. Alright, there's no warning, but the tornado warning has it been canceled for Dewey. Let's see here. So this will be on North Road 2400, and I'm looking for an intersection. Don't see one. What's the closest road? There's one. North Road 2410 and 2400. Those are the best farm to market roads I've got in the vicinity of this little circulation couplet. So it's still going to take it, if it even lasts much longer than a few minutes, it would take it to the east toward Canton. I need to look at another radar view, so I'm going to do something here real quick. I can look at 3 radars at the same time. Let's see. Let that load up a second. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got. No, if we did, it's gone. That didn't last long. Yeah, that was the center of it. Let's see. Bunch of garbled noise in there. Oh, worthless. Yeah, you can't make heads or tails when that happens. I don't see anything now, so that's good. All right, it's still a strong storm, man. It's one of the strongest ones in the state. Let's see. This guy here in Lacey. Another look at him. And we're good there. Okay, so that covers the look of northwest Oklahoma. Alright, and then go back to southwest. See how this one's doing. This is the most southern end one. It's got the best shot of, at some point, producing a tornado. It's going to be a while, but it would have the best opportunity to do so. And it's got a ways to go to get there. It's still kind of lined out in a linear fashion, kind of stretched, if you will, kind of like this. You need it more of that kidney bean look to it. So until we get that kidney bean look, this isn't a threat other than just the hail. But it's in an environment where it should have no problem getting that type of a look, but it's going to be at least another half hour before that happens. Oklahoma City is dry right now, obviously. We don't see any additional storms, so this tail end storm is probably going to be the storm. Now, if it were to stay on its current trajectory, it would skip through the northwest side of Oklahoma City. All right, so probably El Reno, maybe Piedmont, and then up to North Edmond, or between there and Guthrie. If for whatever reason it does start to rotate harder and produces maybe even a tornado at some point, it's going to be more of this trajectory, which would take it through the southern end of Oklahoma City. But that is a long ways away. We're at about 1:30 in the morning. This is basically a 1 hour window, a 2 hour window, a 3 hour window. So you do the math. That's about 3:30 in the morning. Wait, did I do that right? Hold on a second. No, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. But it can pick up speed and all that kind of stuff, so that could change. It's a rough estimate, but that gives you an idea that it's a ways away. So we'll have to see what happens with that one, and it'll undergo a different ton of looks between now and then, and it might even fall apart if things go well in our favor. But it's an environment that it shouldn't, but we'll see. Okay, let's see Oklahoma City itself. Let's go back here. Let's go look at that again. Alright, now I've got nothing imminent for a tornado. I've looked at some of the newest data here with you, and we've checked out pretty much every storm in the state for looking for tornadoes in a haystack, and we're just not getting it. That's all fine with me. So with that said and done, I may turn you loose. Let me see if my stream guys are back up and running. Okay, they're still out hanging out at Hinton. Alright, what else? So YouTube, you guys, I did a cut in about an hour or so ago, but I goofed and I didn't load the YouTube page. So my apologies, you didn't get to see that one. Entertaining Angels, you're the only source I trust for weather. You supply weather covers for areas that are not able to access any. Thanks for all you do, keeping us safe. Stephanie, you bet. Thank you, Stephanie. You're welcome, Courtney. Thanks for checking in on YouTube tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, let's see my patrons. Let me check in with you guys. I have a feeling that the audience will continue to dwindle since it's 1:30 in the morning. I was sitting on the couch early with Joey for a minute, and I was like, I don't know if I can make it. I'm already ready for bed. Let's see. Let's go to main page. So this is where I'm glad I'm my own boss. Because if I was at the TV station, I would have to just tap dance and hem and haw and say stuff that's I don't want to say to keep the ratings up because the other guys are going to stay on and no one can get off. If they all don't go off, then no one can go off. And it's a circus. I'm just glad I'm not in that circus. So when I want to go off, I sign off. Let's see, Tamara, do we still have a chance for a tornado at 4:30? If this hits the metro, can we go to sleep? Well, you can go to sleep, but the chance is still there. But I mean, you could sleep between now and 3:30 if you really wanted to, and then get back up, closer to 3:30 to 4, and see how it looks. And if it's still on the radar, still looks meaty, still has a hooker, a supercell look to it, then you might want to stay up. It depends on the track. If it's going to miss you, then you can go right back to bed. Cody, where are you located? Just got a notification of a high tornado threat. Same thing with you, Lindsay, in Tuttle. You're still an hour and a half away before you even see a storm. Chan, I don't think Enid's going to see a tornado, but you'll probably get some more heavy rain and some flooding. Alan says he's on I-40 West. And where exactly is the biggest part of the storm? Well, let's go take a quick peek. Now remember, it's going to hail tomorrow afternoon from the main upper lows that comes across here in Oklahoma City. I don't know if it'll be severe type size hail. Could be a bunch of dime size hail, but it should hail. And it may surprise you. Okay, so let's go back here to the maps. And I was asked something. I've already forgotten. Okay, it was Elk City, or it was I don't know. It was IDOT 40 or something. My brain's a little tired. If you head out I-40, there's some heavy storms north of I-40, moving away from I-40. So I-40 itself is fine. It's just hit and miss, pockets of some moderate rain with some lightning. Heaviest stuff is out here around Foss and Canute. Otherwise, the big storm is down here in Sentinel and Hobart, and this is the one I'll be keeping an eye on overnight. And this is the one that will be making its way to an east-northeastward fashion. So if it turns right, it'll come right toward Oklahoma City. If it stays more northeast, it'll go more to the El Reno area, and then maybe up toward Guthrie. So we'll keep an eye on that one. This stuff up here to the north is just becoming one big cluster. At some point, you might get an embedded tornado in all this mess. With the boundary interactions with the front, but it's picking that out is going to be nearly impossible until it gets close to happening. There's no predictor in this circus to indicate that at this point, but the atmosphere has a lot of shear with it, so anything can happen in that regard. If you live in southern Oklahoma and you said, hey, what about our threat down here? Well, the good news is you've got no threat for the time being. Next closest storm is way down here in Abilene, Texas. These will make their way through the Dallas-Fort Worth area toward daybreak, and looks like not much is going to happen here in southwest Oklahoma unless something mysteriously just develops out of thin air, which I guess could happen, but it's not a very high probability. Let's take a look at the latest high-res model, and we're going to see if the newest runs have a better grasp at reality. Okay, this is the 1 o'clock in the morning snapshot, and that's actually really good. They finally got one right. Now let's see what happens to go the next hour. All right, poof. It just kills those ones down south. Now this one down here on Elk City is going pretty good. It's got a long track with it, and this one south of Enid looks pretty good too. Wait a minute, what happened to the one down here? They just went poof. Boy, they're having a tough time with these things. It does then magically produce storms out of nowhere here around south of Lawton towards Tall Falls at 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. So there's 2, 3 o'clock. And then at 4, it's got through south central, cluster through south central Oklahoma, southern Oklahoma. It still keeps it going up north and east. I don't see any helicity tracks and the model output is very blah. It's not a supercellular look to it, more of a multi-cell clustered mess, kind of like we have right now in northwest Oklahoma. All right, so here's that secondary upper low that comes in, and so at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we should have some little hailstorms moving through central Oklahoma. So keep that in mind through the late afternoon if you get some while you're driving and hit your car. Otherwise, some heavy blowing snow northwest Oklahoma to the Panhandle. Let's see what the latest is on the snowfall amounts for this dude. Still got about 3-4 inches of snow around Woodward area, and as much as 6 inches or more. That says a foot out here in some few counties here of Texas Panhandle. That is crazy. Now the wind gusts are supposed to be ridiculous. Let's take a look. All right, yeah, you see that yellow? That's a lot of blowing wind. All this yellow is at 50 to 60 miles per hour. Now some of that won't quite transfer to the surface. It's going to be close though. So expect wind gusts up to about 50 tomorrow afternoon here in western half of Oklahoma through the mid to late afternoon. And it does move in Oklahoma City about 5 o'clock. So that's crazy. Tomorrow's kind of a rude day. It's just not pretty any stretch of the imagination. All right, let me see how the models are handling the latest dew point surge. What's it going to do? It brings it in here at 3 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the morning, just ahead of what would be the threat of storms moving in. So according to the model, it comes in at the right time. Let's take a look at the forecast sounding. See how that looks. Still calling for tornado with significant hail, baseball size or larger, and significant tornado at that. Wind shear still great. Speed shear picks up a little bit. No cap to speak of. 2.61. That's 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Let's see here. Same deal. Parameters get a little goofy on the shear because the system is starting to approach, and through 5 o'clock. So the window will extend here for the greater Oklahoma City metro area to about 4 to 5 o'clock, and then it moves east. So it's about an hour delayed from prior thinking. All right, so the high-res model still says tornadoes are a possibility. Let's do Cape and crossover shear. Let's see here. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Yeah, you can see that sweet spot that kind of comes in. Whoa, where'd it go? Get back here. At 4 a.m. So this highlighted area in colors, this is the instability that comes in like this. So remember, it just moved right in here at the right time between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning. Wind shear is still adequate, so it's just a very small window where trouble can happen is basically what it is. Let me go to the bigger picture, and we're going to show what the latest supercell composite looks like with that in mind. So the brighter colors indicates where the atmosphere is more conducive for supercell type storms, and that continues through, let's see, so 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, it starts to diminish and shrink. Alright, let's see what it does with the significant tornado parameter. So stronger now, starts to weaken a little bit. There's the 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. This is Oklahoma County right here. This is Norman down here, and Newcastle down here. So we're still in the hot spot there at 4 o'clock in the morning. Then at 5, it's pretty much dwindled and moved to the east. Little taste in Tulsa, which is probably why the Storm Prediction Center went ahead and just mentioned the possibility. They can't rule it out of a tornado up there. Okay, that's really all I needed to see. So basically nothing's changed. We're just going to watch the storms that are out there unless anything new develops. And we're going to take it from there. Let's see how this one's doing. Oh, let me go to all right. This is actually falling apart a little bit. It's gotten weaker. Oh, that'd be nice. I'd like to see this right here fall apart, and that way nothing happens at all for this area, Southwest Oklahoma, or even Oklahoma City. I'd like that. Then we have to watch the interaction of the front for low vorticity generation for the boundary, and then these southern storms that ride along that front. That's the only other way you could get a tornado with what's out there currently. So that would put that risk basically, it's a different color. I-40 out here just east of Elk City, and then back up here probably to about Guthrie and then Stillwater. So kind of be in this little sweet spot right here for the tornado threat along the front as it rises up the boundary. Let's see. Anything else? Check you guys real quick. What's going on there? Whoa. Okay. All right, let me take another look at this one from another view. Looks suspicious. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Moderate mesocell detected.
So,
Severe hail detected.
this is right on 51A. Alright, let's see where this one was at. Ah, okay. .636, 634. So what I was watching for is a quick tornadic spin up here at Highway 51A and East Road 780. Probability of a tornado 22%. The issue is sometimes there's some mountainous terrain blockage and some other funky effects that can happen up here from this northern radar. So I wanted to get another view, so I went to the other radar here in central Oklahoma to look at that same area. And although there is some mid-level rotation there, let's see, that's at 6,000 feet. What was this one at? This is where I talk to myself. You guys just keep yourself busy. That's at 5,700 feet. Almost the same elevation. It's a different look. So this is where I was kind of just like, I'll sit here for a minute. Let's see what the next scan shows. Okay. Well, let's see. While that's happening, let's see. Was this thing got anything? This has a tornado tag possible. The one going into Perry. It's got a tornado vortex signature. Let's see what else it's got. Look at it from a different view. Yeah, that one didn't mount to anything, it looks like. That was a close call though. Okay, go back up here to Perry. There's some really bad velocity data tonight I've noticed, and that's given some of these algorithms a false trigger. Let's see, what else we got? Oh, terrible. Okay. Alright, so this one up here at Perry had at least some mid-level rotation, but I wasn't too excited about the low level yet. It's got Lucian, of course, now had already moved through, and then it's got Red Rock at 211. Before that hail core part kind of gets into that area. And the Perry will be also in the path of the southern end of this guy. And that'll be just in the next 15 minutes. Okay, so I have to keep an eye on that one. That is on the warm side of the front. And it's got a dew point of 57 going into it. Yeah, that's why it's hurting. Alright, let's see what these other guys are doing. Man, it's almost like you just gotta leave it on velocity and just start looking for needles in a haystack. It's such a mess up here. Let's see. Okay. If I see something that's of significance, I'm going to tell you. Just so you know. Right now I'm just pinging back and forth between different cells up here in northern and western Oklahoma. There's a lot of just wind shear in general from these storms. That might have been a really small tornado here that crossed over 51A and northwest of Watonga, East Road 780, and then moved up to, where are we? State Highway 8 and Roman Nose State Parkway. If that is indeed a very small one, that's where that would be located. My confidence isn't that high on it, but that's where it would be. Okay, this one out here, let's see, how's that one looking? That's looking a little, it's broad. Yeah. Let's see it tighten up a little bit better. But there is some, appears to be some circulation there at low level. But still waiting for that one. Man, is that one down in Southwest falling apart? Let's take a look. Oh, it is. It's evaporated. I can't believe it. That thing looked so good for so long. What happened? Cell merger moved due north. It was never rooted. It was elevated, so it never tapped into the juice, and therefore it didn't have a supply chain. That's too bad. So what's left of that thing is going to go over Cordell and then up 40, and then we'll see what happens when it gets into this mess. It'll probably re-intensify what's left of it. Wow, that's a big nothing. All right. Pardon me. My body clock says, "What are you doing, dude? You should have been in bed like an hour ago, 2 hours ago now. Stupid time change." Let's see. What else we got? It's just overall wind shear. Nothing there. There's just nothing, any of this stuff. Let's see what we got up here. Nothing. Nothing but nothing. Did nothing and like it. Alright. Let's try another view. Just gotta bounce around the radars till I find something that looks ominous. What's one doing? I think it's got some side lobe contamination. I don't know. Just watching this eastern fringe, we'll see. At times it looks like it might be worth paying attention to, and then it doesn't. How about this stuff? Nope. Okay. Well, let me check my storm chase dudes, see if they said anything.
There are no storms presently in your area of interest. Moderate mesocell detected.
So outside of what I'm looking for, tornado threats, a lot of these storms just have at least 1 inch size hail and wind gusts up to 60. So that's going to be kind of at a minimal type deal. Okay, what do you... Okay. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. I have all three TVs from the local stations all up here at once, so I can monitor the if they have like a helicopter shot or live feed from storm chasers or whatever. And I can't hear what they're saying. I can just see what they circle and what they do. And I'm just like, okay. So I'm laughing at what I was just seeing. Oh my gosh. Whatever. Not gonna say anything more. Alright. There's a lot of circles going on. Alright, I think I'm going to be signing off. I'm not sure I'm going to sign back on. Something really has to change. The data says we're still golden for a chance for some action, but radar says otherwise. So this cluster up here to the north is going to have to do something somewhere in one of these pockets and probably interact with the frontal boundary, which is... let's go here. Hard to find in that mess. Let's see. So something like this. So this is This would be I-40 and the west of Clinton area. So storm would have to ride up along this boundary and ingest it along the vorticity that rotates along a boundary. It's like a horizontal roll, and if an updraft can come up across that boundary and interact with it, it'll take that roll and it'll tilt it up, and then as it does, it can help produce a tornado. So you'd watch for those storms that run along this boundary. So let's go back with that in mind. Let's take a look up here. So let's see here. What do we got? See if we can't draw this. And that's probably why this storm up here has looked a little goofy at times. It's riding along it. Let me see here. I need more surface observations on here. Is that a 2 for some flooding? Let's see here. So the front should be through Enid, or on the west side of Enid, and it should come down about like this. Something like that. And these cluster of storms are all in that vicinity. So one of those would have to anchor on it.
Attention. There are storm cells presently in your area of interest. Severe hail detected.
Let's see what else. Do this. All right. So this is going to end it here. We've got no new cloud development here. In other words, there'll be no new development of any new storms. And what we've had, this merge into this cluster here, is going to continue to enhance this whole MCC region, mesoscale convective complex. Embedded within this are some bright red or dark red areas. That's where the cloud tops are the coldest. It's where the stronger storms are located. So I believe this one's probably going to be the one that's over at Enid. And then that one southwest we're looking at from there. And then now down in North Texas. Let's do that. This stuff is going to work its way here to the northeast towards southern Oklahoma. So that's probably where the secondary batch of some new additional thunderstorms will probably develop in this area along I-35. And then those will move into southeastern Oklahoma. So the way that's shaping up, that means that this area here is pretty much going to be storm free as this guy here kind of skirts like this with some new generation. But we'll see. That's what this out looks like is going toward. Man, it's only March 17th. We got a ways to go. 3 months. They better not all be at 2 in the morning. Or I'm throwing in the towel. Alright, let's see what's going up here north. Anything? Nope. Okay, how about in this mess? Maybe something embedded here. Try and get going. Let's see here. It's weak, broad. So I watched that little spot. That would be coming in toward Loyal in about 15 minutes. So let me take a look at that from a different view. Let's see which radar was that. See what this one shows. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing but nothing. Alright, so here's the deal. I don't have any tornadoes, haven't had any tornadoes. I covered the 2 warnings that came out, even though there were no tornadoes with those. So I'm going to let these go. And if I don't fall asleep, I'm going to watch this for a while and see if anything changes. If it does, I'll cut back in. Otherwise, you can go to sleep here in Oklahoma City. I don't anticipate at this point, it looks like anything's going to happen since that cell that was going to be coming toward our area died off. Weather service, what are you going to do? Severe thunderstorm warning, new one for Blaine, Custer, Dewey till 2:30 with a tornado tag on it, which means not an official tornado warning, but they saw what I saw, which was this little weak circulation area. Probability of a tornado has gone up from 18 to 35%. So it's from this broad area here, and it's over about a 1.5 mile area of circulation, and that's too broad. You have to be within a mile minimum. So it needs to tighten up for it to do anything, but hence the reason for the warning wording. We'll probably end up getting some freak tornado embedded somewhere in all this mess with the frontal boundary, and it'll be quick, come out of nowhere, and very little warning time, lead time, and that's just the way it'll be. All right, well, I can do this all night. So tell you what, I'm going to sign off and look at some stuff behind the scenes. If it looks like I need to do another cut in, I will. Otherwise, I may be joining the rest of you and going to sleep. You guys up here in northwest Oklahoma, you'll be dealing with lightning, heavy rainfall, obviously some hail and the stronger storms. Hail sizes have come down a little bit, and most of these are right around an inch. Some of them still up around golf ball at times, but I'm seeing a little bit of a trend on some of them the weekend, which is good. And then maybe some potential for some brief flash flooding where you get too much rain that doesn't wash away in time to where it needs to go. I think that's going to be about it. So thanks again for watching tonight. I appreciate your support on YouTube and Periscope and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And we'll check in with you again either later tonight or if not, sometime soon. Not sure when, but hopefully I don't have to do another cut in for a tornado, but if I need to, I'll do it. All right. Well, take care, guys. We'll talk soon.